Welcome back to the show. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a scratch golfer, everyone is trying to improve their putting. Well, for much more on how you can do that, let's learn all about putting only. Here at the Putting Only Performance Center alongside John Sawatsky. John, welcome to Golf Talk Canada.
Thank you, Adam. Good to be here.
So for those who don't know what the Putting Only Performance Lab Center is, tell us all about it.
The Putting Only Performance Center is a unique space where players can come in, work on putting specific, lessons, coaching, and we have a phenomenal outdoor facility where we can amplify the player's experience.
And for you, you've been in club fitting, club specs for quite some time. Give our audience a background on what you've done in the golf space.
Yeah, so it's been a long journey. I actually got into golf with the first golf town that opened. It was like store 1001. Yeah. And I was 16, so I got into golf really early. Fast forward 15 years, got into kind of custom club fitting, which really changed kind of the trajectory of my career, I think. Exposed me to kind of some of the newer tech, which has evolved, of course. And, through club fitting, got into putter fitting, of course, was part of a component to that. And, just got lots of requests for lessons, coaching, some more eyes on them for a little longer. So it turned into a business, over first couple years, I would say. It took a little bit of time, but then it slowly turned into, this balance of my fitting life and coaching. And then in the last sort of 6 months, 8 months or so, I decided to kind of make the jump. And it's been great. What a phenomenal place we have. It's very unique. And the experience is world class.
You mentioned unique and world class, and there's a bunch of technology in this room where we're standing. Tell us about some of the tech that's here.
So currently we have a couple things. One, the big stage here is the Zen Green Stage. It's the first and only unit in Canada at the moment. So we're proud to be in that space. We can create up to 8 billion different putts on this surface.
8 billion?
8 billion. It's a lot. We'll probably never get there, but we have the capabilities of kind of really exploring a lot of options for players and putting them in certain situations, along with Quintic, which is sort of industry leading camera technology. It's basically like TrackMan for putting, and it captures all sorts of images and data that we look at and help build a player's profile to help them move forward.
So let's say someone comes and sees you for the first time. What happens?
Well, they would go through an initial assessment first. We just sort of take a quick peek at how they handle kind of basic things like alignment, posture. Do they move around? Very simple things. And it kind of builds on that, and you start to figure out, okay, how do we make this player better as fast as possible, right? And everybody has their own type of formula, and so over the years it's been great and a lot of fun to figure out how to make people better. Everyone's different, how to make them better faster. And you came in, last week we got you in first, and we did that kind of initial assessment, and that was pretty cool to get you up there because a good player like yourself, there's always patterns that we find. And so when we can expose you, then we can fix it.
And it's been a great journey for me so far. I've just seen you once. We're about to do another session now. We'll get to my own personal growth, my own personal journey here. But for, let's say, the average person who walks in here, is there an average fault that someone has or a flaw in their putting stroke, where they're aiming, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing would be aiming and alignment and how they marry the two. And they're kind of different when you talk about them specifically, right? But, the best players in the world just aim the putter right where they want to start the ball, and they get it back there just as good as anybody. And so, from a certain range, that becomes super important, right? And that's probably the biggest fault. Then there's sort of speed issues and things like that, which Quintic can capture, where we get some deviation to that. And then again, with the facility having such a fantastic, massive putting green out of these bay doors here, we can start implementing practice regimes and programs that we design within the studio space.
100%. So let's take a deep dive into my putting here, because we just had the one session last week, about to do session number 2. Yeah.
I came in here, balls in the back of my stance. I've always hit up on the ball repeatedly, and we went through the initial assessment, and a lot changed, and a lot changed quickly. Why don't you tell our audience, if you can remember anyway, what we went through?
Pretty basic, actually. Common flaw that we see. You had maybe some posture and ball position issues. We ran you through an alignment sort of test, which was interesting, and I think we got some good feedback from that. And so that was a kind of ground zero for you, but you also really launched the ball quite high, didn't you? Remember that? We were seeing that ball with variable ball speed and launches. Your ball was kind of interacting with the turf at all sorts of different moments, and there was a lot of inconsistency to that. So you did actually a decent job of aiming, although everyone can always get better at that, of course. So that's still kind of priority one. But once we get you rolling the ball better and in a little bit better posture, you're going to start to keep the ball online for longer. And you said you played the other day. You had a couple putts that you made within inside 10 feet that you were kind of excited about, and that's sort of where we would start to see this effect take place. Outside 5 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, those are real sort of kind of green zones where we want to start to make more putts. Of course, the 5 3-footers are we want to sweep those into, but when players are really getting specific with their skills and want to be really, really good, you start to whittle it down and sharpen your tools and start to look at the fine details and things like that.
Well, I'll put it this way. I was excited to step into a putt for the first time in quite some time. And my friend, that's all thanks to you. And I mean, I missed one putt inside of 8 feet in my first round with these new changes, which is something I haven't said, possibly ever. So for someone watching, someone listening to this right now, they're loving everything they're hearing. How do they get in touch with you? How do they get where we are right now?
Excellent. We have a website, puttingonly.com, where you can sign up for a lesson package or individual lesson or assessment. You can also look us up on Instagram. Puttingonly is the handle, and there's all sorts of other contact information within those spaces. And we'd love to have you at Coppenwood. Just a fantastic practice facility. This is, we want to feature this place because this is just one of the best places where you can get better. There's really no limits to what we can do here.
It's a remarkable facility, puttingonly.com. Go check it out. Go check them out on social media as well. John, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Well, I have never putted this well in my life. You guys have to go check out Putting Only and see the brilliant work that John is doing.